question we're all asking now is what is going on with Shedeur Sanders? And so the floor is yours. Maybe you can make sense of this free fall with what was at one point the top-rated quarterback in this draft class.
Yeah, see, I think at this point in time, this really isn't a football discussion any longer. This is a personal discussion. This is about it's a fit discussion. It's whether or not teams are just comfortable with everything that comes along with Shedeur in terms of who he is as a person, all the people that are surrounding him in terms of his inner circle, and whether or not teams deem that to be something that they're comfortable with. Right or wrong, that's the only conclusion you can really come to at this point. Because, look, obviously it's a subjective argument as to what his actual physical skills are on the football field. But I think if you're trying to be objective about it and remove everything else surrounding this young man that comes along with him, he can play the game of football. Okay, this is a guy who's extremely accurate. He's extremely mobile. He has a lot of mental horsepower. He played the game at a high level. It's as simple as that. But if you go into this whole evaluation process and you're already biased towards feeling as though you want to emphasize the negative, whatever, and I'm not saying that's the case for me, but if you want to emphasize some things that really don't have anything to do with on the football field and you get caught up in all the rest of it, it can start skewing your judgment as to what this young man actually brings in terms of value. And I think that's kind of the arena that we're in right now. We're not even really debating whether or not he can play the position.
Right.
We're debating whether or not he fits certain organizations or any of those 32 organizations since he hasn't been picked yet. And I think that's extremely unfair, quite honestly. And I think at this point in time, everything is on the table as far as all 32 teams when you're talking about where could he ultimately end up. I think it's going to wind up being a football team that maybe we don't even expect, that winds up saying, hey, look, we are secure in our organization. We are not afraid of the personality that he brings, the confidence that he brings, the fact that his father is Shedeur Sanders, who's going to play a prominent role in his career and in his life, whether we like it or not. We're not scared of any of that because you know what we see? We see a guy who has franchise quarterback potential, and we want to harness that. We want to develop that. We want to see whether or not we can pull that out of him, and that's something that will help us win football games. There's only certain organizations, I think, that really are capable of doing that. We'll see where ultimately he winds up being selected here today. But this really has dipped into, in my estimation, the theater of the absurd. I mean, this is something I've never seen. I don't quite understand it. But when you're talking about people's personal feelings and their personal biases and whether or not they just simply like a person, this is the kind of thing you can end up with.
To your point, Lou, about all 32 teams now seem to be in the mix. I'm going through, as I'm watching the third round last night, every quarterback room. And if there's an option for a backup, a starter, it's this game. We're playing like mental gymnastics now at this point when it comes to Shedeur Sanders. Look, there are other players, obviously, that are going to be drafted today that are important as well. So in addition to Sanders, who else that's still available do you think can have a major impact at the next level?
Yeah, I tell you, the music is really ramped up here, saying I'm struggling to hear you. But I heard the question, who can make an impact? I think Alec Manor from Stanford is a fantastic wide receiver prospect who is big, about 6'2", about 206 pounds, runs sub 4.4, maybe in the high 4.3s, who's just a physical presence on the outside laying down the field. In 2023, I got to watch him out in Boulder go up against Travis Hunter, and he gave him fits. Travis didn't know what to do with him because of how strong he is at the line of scrimmage, how strong he is at the catch point, and the kind of ball skills he has down the field in contested catch situations. He is going to be a guy who you'll wind up hearing a lot of this fall with whichever team he winds up going to, and I think he'll present tremendous value here in the fourth round for someone.
All right. The Stanford product you're talking about set a school record with 294 yards during a 2023 game against Colorado, ironically. Riddick, thank you. Enjoy today, last day of the draft.
You bet. Thanks.